the 10 reasons why my penis, oh yeah, is bigger than the Slug Daddy. Number 1, my penis is 18 inches. Number 2, Slug Daddy's penis is 3 inches. Number 3, he's a fucking jober. Number 4, he loves Jeff Jarrett's nuts in his mouth, licking the hairs off his fucking nuts. I can't do it. I can't do this shit. I can't. I can't do this shit. No. My apologies. I'm sorry. The fucking beanie out here. That is not what I'm about. That is not what I'm about. I am here to talk about wrestling. And what's up, guys? Anchor Breaker J2 here, the man with the plan, man with the mind, and the knowledge of the YWC. And this is a video that I kind of want to make. I talk about people about this all the time on, on some internet fans and how they think they're smart because they like a certain time of era. But it's not really to bash those fans, but it's just that there's some fans out there, they don't really educate themselves on wrestling prior to like 1997, 96. Not saying all you guys, I'm just saying a lot of people, they don't associate with themselves with, don't want to associate with wrestling before 1997 for a reason. I mean, especially with WWF. I mean, I understand WCW, you probably, that company's been dead for, 11 years now, 11 years now. So you may not, you may just start watching wrestling, you may still don't know too much about WCW. But WWF, WWE, it kind of astonished me on how some people don't know the history of the company. And like some of the wrestlers, like for example, you like Shawn Michaels. You like Shawn Michaels. I love Shawn Michaels, but it's kind of mind-boggling how some people don't realize that and I do hear this sometimes on how Shawn Michaels was a tag team wrestler before he became a single star. He was a heel, and he was with Kevin Nash and Diesel, aka Diesel, and eventually turned face. Some people don't know that. That sounds dumb, yes I know, but some people don't know that. It's kind of like, your favorite sports team. My favorite sports team is the San Antonio Spurs. Obviously, I'm wearing the hat. Second round, tomorrow. That's off track, but it's kind of like, being a fan of your favorite sports team, but you don't know the history of your sports team. Like for example, I know that, the Spurs, we had several conference, we went to the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe 1978-79. The 78-79 season, we were up 3-1 against the Washington Bullets, and we lost. I wasn't born back then in 1978-79, but you get my point. I looked up the history, and I educate myself on my team. It's kind of like educating yourself on the company that you watch, WWF. Some people don't know the main events to WrestleMania 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. They don't know some of the main events. They don't know some of the great wrestlers that were back then. They don't know that Bruce Pritchard used to be Brother Love in WWF. Bruce Pritchard, who is now the head writer of TNA, he used to be a wrestler, Brother Love, in the WWF, which is a very hated heel. They don't know that this is going towards WCW, but they don't know that the disciple was the disciple who was part of the NWO, during 1998, 97, 98, was known as the Booty Man in WCW, aka Bruce the Barber Beefcake. Now, some people don't even know who the hell I'm talking about, Bruce the Barber Beefcake, but he was a very big face at the time in the late 80s in WWF. He was about as big of a face as Hogan. He teamed up with Hogan against Macho Man Randy Savage and Zeus, which you don't need to know about. Unless you watch Friday, Debo is Zeus. Yes, the real Debo from Friday was wrestling in WWF in 1989. Yes. They had a match there at SummerSlam. it's just try to further educate yourself, with the company. I know some wrestling then is dry and some people call it boring, but you gotta think about it. It's at the time of when wrestling was more mat based. It was wrestling, not these crazy spots where you do swanton bomb from 30 feet, or you get the board machine guns type of wrestling, or you get AJ Styles type of wrestling. It wasn't about that back then. It was about telling a story in the ring, doing great mat work, and just, have the baby face beat the heel. Because the baby face always beats the heel back in the day, no matter what. For the big events, at least. Now, I just find another reason, I find that you should educate yourself in wrestling. Some people like wrestlers from old, but they do not know, like, how they got their start, or they do not know on on how what the struggles they went to, or some of the other organizations that they went in. Now, I know there's some people out there that like Mr. Perfect. I'm a big Curt Hennig fan. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I think he's one of the best athletes in wrestling of all time. But some people didn't realize Curt Hennig was in AWA. He was a former world champion, part of the AWA. Former world champion. I believe he lost the belt to Jerry Lawler, if I'm not mistaken. He lost the belt to Jerry Lawler in AWA. Some people don't even realize that. Some people don't realize that Curt Hennig is a former world champion. Some people don't realize Rick Martel, the model Rick Martel, is a former world champion, part of AWA. I just find kind of, astonishing that, people choose not to learn. They choose not to learn. They choose not to, look at wrestling past, 1997, and, and they, I mean, I'm just going to keep it real here. I mean, there's some people here, they come on YouTube, and they come on YouTube, and I talk to some people on Skype, and they just make themselves sound like idiots sometimes because of the fact that they don't educate themselves on wrestling prior. I'm not going to even give any names, but I had a guy one time said that FCW, Championship for Florida Wrestling, started in 2007. That was WWE's developmental contract. That's when it started. The company was not around since 2007. It was back in the 70s, the 60s. The Wrestling Graham family, Mike Graham, Eddie Graham, the Graham family built up that organization where you brought in guys like Hulk Hogan went through there, Andre the Giant went through there, Dusty Rhodes, Dick Murdoch, Haystacks Calhoun, Harley Race when he was the world champion, when he was going to different territories. Ric Flair went through there, several times. Doesn't seem like it was from in 2007 with all those guys. I mean, I'm just saying. But, my message out there to the YWC, try to get yourself more educated on prior wrestling. You'll get to learn some stuff. You get to, I mean, like I said, the wrestling will be dry and boring, but just educate yourself. I mean, like I said, I find it astonishing that you watch the WWE and you do not know all the main events of the WrestleMania. You don't have to know the entire card, just all the main events. I could just say WrestleMania 1, the main event was Mr. T and Hulk Hogan versus the Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, and Roddy Piper in a tag team match. WrestleMania 2, Hulk Hogan and King Kong in a steel cage match. WrestleMania 3, Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. WrestleMania 4, the finals to the tournament, Randy Savage versus Ted DiBiase. WrestleMania 5, Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage. WrestleMania 6, Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior. WrestleMania 7, Hulk Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter. I'm tired of saying Hulk Hogan already. WrestleMania 8, Sergeant Slaughter, Sid Vicious Sid Justice at the time he was known as versus Hulk Hogan. It's supposed to come like that to you. It's just supposed to come like. Now, I started watching wrestling since 1992, but again, I still learn past. Some of you guys that were born, and I'm not blaming you because you were born in 2002 or whatever, but learn your history. Just learn your history. Just, take some time. Learn your history. You're going to be like, okay, I know that guy. That guy, he's in TNA now. Or, oh, I know that guy. Oh, Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett's still wrestling WWF. Oh, okay. You'll gain some interest into the time back then. You have to find little things from back then to gain interest into the product back then. Like, for instance, now, this is when I first started learning. I did not know, because Terry Taylor used to do commentary for WWF, like in 1999, 98, 99, when Jim Ross came down with Bell's palsy. And I learned that Terry Taylor was known as a Red Rooster. And this is obviously way, like, years ago when I learned that. Like, about at least 10 years ago when I was, like, 13. So I educate myself. I was like, okay, I know that guy. Okay, I see that guy. It's just for educate yourself. And that's what you really need to do, just for educate yourself. You know, you don't necessarily have to watch every match from back then, but just for educate yourself and become a smart wrestling fan. So when you make references on here, you can just, you know, represent, oh, well, it's kind of like that match from, you know, SummerSlam 1992, you know, with the British Bulldog and Bret Hart. You can make references back then, and it makes you overall a smart wrestling fan. So that's all I really wanted to do today. Just come on here, just share some thoughts, and you know, just let you guys know that, I mean, you can still be a smart wrestling fan if you just take pieces from back then and just you know, educate yourself on it. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna go and get out of here. Please rate, please subscribe, please drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think, or what kind of give me your honest opinion, on. Do you think that you haven't really been paying attention to old school wrestling, or do you think that you only care about a certain era, like the Attitude Era, or you only care about the Ruthless Aggression Era, or do you even care at all? You're just like, okay, I don't care about the past, whatever. The past is the past, isn't relevant. Just let me know what you guys think. All right, I'll see you guys later.